Okay, this time we're going to talk about multiplying by two-digit numbers, chapter 1.7. Multiply by two-digit numbers. Now, again, we have to keep concentrating on what's really happening so that we understand. I'm going to start with 24 times 15. And we need to remember that there's two things that are happening here. First, it's 24 times 5. That's what's happening first. There's 5 ones here, and it's 24 times 5. And we're also multiplying 24 times 10. It looks like 1, but it's really 10, because 15 is 5 and 10. We multiply by 24 times 10. You've been learning how to do that in your head. This one's easy. It's 240. 24 times 10 is 240. This one is not so easy, but you've learned the pattern. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10. 12 ends up being 120. Does that make sense? 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 is 20. And this is really 120. Okay, now we add these together. This looks a little different than what you're used to doing. We usually don't separate it out sideways like this, one problem and another. We do it all at once, but you might not have known that this is really what you're doing. First multiplying 24 times 5, 24 times 5, and then multiplying 24 times 10. Traditionally, we say 5 times 4 is 20, carry the 2, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, this is 120. This is what we had over here. Now, you've always been told to add a 0, and that's because you're really multiplying by 10, so you have to start one space over in the tens place instead of the ones place. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2, and that's 240. Notice we had 240 here when we broke the problem apart. Next is the addition half. We just have to add 120 and 240. Something that you're very good at and you're capable of doing. 360 is your answer. Now, we should have estimated before we started. Estimating is important. And how would I estimate? Well, I could just round down, which would be 20 times 10, which is 200, or I could round up 30 times 20, which is 600. I know that my answer should be bigger than 200 and less than 600. I know that's true, and it ends up being 360. It's kind of in the middle between 200 and 600 because 24 and 15 are sort of in the middle. Okay, does that make sense? Good. Let's do one more. This should be a short lesson because it's stuff that you already understand. This one's just a little bit harder. We'll do a harder one so that you can practice with it. 384 times 45. This is the traditional way of doing it. Hopefully you understand the way we did it before. Start by estimating 400 times 50. 384 rounds up to 400, 45 rounds up to 50. Both of these naturally round up. Last time I showed you where I rounded down and I rounded up. This time it works pretty well to round both of them up. 4 times 5 is 20, and then you have 3 leftover zeros to tack on, and you end up with 20,000. That's how you would estimate. So we should get something like that. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 5 times 8 is 40. 41, 42. 42, carry the 4. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. Now we're going to go ahead and add that 0. It's just a place value holder because really that 4 doesn't stand for 4, it stands for 40. We have to come over to the tens place. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. can get rid of these now because we're done with them. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 1 is 33. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Then we add. I think I probably could do a nicer job with that, and I'd want you to do a nicer job with that too. Add 0 plus 0, 2 plus 6, 9 plus 3, carry that 1, 5, 6, 7, 1. 17,280. We had estimated 20,000. This seems to be a pretty good way to do it. We rounded up for both of these, so we should get an answer that's less than the 20,000 that we estimated. I think we did this right. Nice job. Woo. It's a weird face.